Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden's here. Caden, how you doing today?
It's Christmas time, so that's great. Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from the Untouchaballs podcast.
But other than that, this was the worst week in the history of the Untouchaballs podcast.
In the history of the Untouchaballs, 4 years.
We're on like episode 93.
We're almost to episode
94,
100.
yeah.
And this is the worst we've ever performed. I didn't get a single pick right.
Combined, we went, let's see, there was 9 games. We went 3-15. And on our bets, which you can see at the Untouchaballs Instagram account, make sure you follow that, we went 1-11. So, awful week.
I don't even know where to begin.
All things Untouchaballs.
I don't even know where to begin.
Do we just start with the college football
Let's just
playoffs?
start talking about every single. So basically, reversed everything I said on Saturday,
It would have been beautiful.
and you would have made lots of money.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I think, more impressive that I got everything wrong.
Every
than
bet,
anything.
every pick, everything.
Because like you could throw darts on a board and you're gonna hit something. I
Mhm.
got everything wrong.
It's it's impressive.
It's
a
never
way.
happened.
No.
I don't even know what to say. I think that's all I have to say.
Let's start off with the first college football playoff game between the Indiana Hoosiers and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Where this was one of my 3 correct picks on the weekend. Where the Fighting Irish won 27-17. Wasn't really that close. A little garbage time score for Indiana to make it a little closer. Notre Dame dominated this game from start to finish.
100%, Caden. You said it all year. Indiana was not an equal football team compared to Notre Dame. And we talked about it before the pod, right? I was being optimistic against coaching that they could, come out good enough to cover. I don't know why I decided to throw the bet down on it. Indiana just got outplayed, outran, out-physicaled, out-schemed. Notre Dame was a better football team.
Yeah, I said it last week. I've said it all season. Indiana was not that good of a football team. They had their only good opponent they played all year in Ohio State. They got killed. They were able to beat their bad opponents, which at least halfway decent
They're a good team.
they're a good team. They can beat the bad teams.
They're not great.
But when they play an actual good or above average team, they will lose. Their weaknesses will show, and that's what happened against Notre Dame this week.
Yes, it is, Caden.
Our Sunday, though, this is where we both went, or Saturday, I mean, we went 0-3 on college and 0-1 on football.
Love it.
Keeping it with college, you have the Penn State SMU game, and our Mustangs
Obliterated.
38-10.
It wasn't even close.
2 pick sixes in the first quarter by Kevin Jennings. Another pick. They're up 14-0 early, Penn State. So they're like, okay, why not? Let's go for 4th and 1 on our own 29-yard line. They tried the QB sneak. Doesn't work. SMU's ball. I'm watching. I'm like, okay, this is where we get back in this game. This is where you make up for these past pick six, make up for these mistakes. D. Lyman tips the ball, picks it off himself, catches it, and then they drive right down the field. I just want to say, I'm still right about Drew Aller. He did nothing in that game. Only had 127 pass yards, no tutties. He didn't do anything, but they couldn't stop the run, SMU. And when you throw 2 pick sixes and have a bunch of turnovers, you can't expect to win or recover in this football game.
Can't expect to win, can't expect to cover. Ultimately, you said it, Caden. You turn 2 pick sixes, you're not winning that football game.
Longhorns, though, while they didn't cover, I don't really care. They had a great win in this game. They were able to win by 14, 38-24 victory. What did you see in this one, Max?
I saw a Longhorns team, Caden, that looked like they kind of want to compete for a national title, I think. Caden. I'm still a little questionable on, ultimately how they're going to look next week against who I think will be a far better opponent in the ASU Sun Devils. But got to give credit to Texas, took care of business, got to win against, as we've talked about before, Dabo Swinney, who's a credible coach, has been there, done that. Got to like it, kid.
Yeah, Texas defense looked great in this first half, was able to shut down everything Clemson after their opening drive touchdown. Things got a little, scarier in the second half. Clemson was able to start putting up points. But just big shout-outs to the running game here. Jaden Blue, 14 carries, 146 yards, 2 tutties. Quintravion Wisner, who didn't play much in the second half because he was a little injured, 15 carries, 110 yards, 2 tutties. Gibson put up another 35 on his own. We had over about 300 rushing yards as a team. Quinn threw for 202, tutty, and the pick wasn't his fault. Right off of Moore's hands that turned into that. That was bad. But great job by the rushing attack. Good job by the defense. Was great for about the first, I'd say, 3 quarters.
Yeah, they started off really well. Okay?
Let Klubnik and Clemson try to get back into it in the fourth a little bit, but they weren't able to stop the run at all. And it seems like really that this running attack is going to be able to help propel their offense going forward if they can keep playing like this.
Most definitely. And like I said, behind that offensive line, that looked really good in the first start of the season.
We finally had Kevin Banks back. Yes. We missed the SEC championship against Georgia, which sucked.
That's a big add back on that offensive
But then our center on that pick got absolutely obliterated. Killed blindside block, which saved the pick 6. Jonathan Majors, I hope he's all good. Hope we see him back next week against ASU. But even with him out, the O-line was still looking incredible, was able to block really well for the rushing attack. Our last game, another blowout, with the one I had coined the best game of the weekend.
Yes, you did.
Between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Tennessee Volunteers, 42-17 shellacking in favor of the Buckeyes.
This kid, again, was another one we were completely wrong about. I thought Tennessee's defense was going to be able to help them keep it in together. We talked about, they can be explosive on offense. Ryan Day and Ohio State were very upset about the way they finished the season. I think that was very clear. They came out and left zero doubt that they were the better, superior team and shut up the Volunteers, dominated at home, and looked pretty nice going into next week.
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith, 6 for 103, 2 tutties.
Did his thing.
And then the rushing attack was great too. Quinshon Judkins, 2 tutties. Travion Henderson, 80 yards and 2 tutties. They just, it seemed like, especially early in that game, every time they got the ball, they were driving right down the field, scoring a touchdown with ease. And Tennessee gave us hope that they could maybe get a cover, but getting it within close going into halftime. And then the second half started to end. It was the same story that we saw in the first quarter, just an Ohio State beatdown.
Most definitely, Caden. Again, the unfortunate reality of these opening college football games was they were blowouts going the other way. Yeah. I thought the underdogs would be able to keep it close, cover spreads. Yep. It didn't happen.
Yeah, every favorite covered pretty easily.
Dominantly.
The only close one was the Texas one, but that was also the largest spread of the week.
Yes, it was, kid.
NFL, though, we had that one Saturday game between the Steelers and Ravens. We were both on the Steelers to cover the 6.5. Ravens win 34-17, 162 rush yards for Derrick Henry. All around, it was just a good performance.
The Ravens beat down and broke what is a very good Steelers defense, Caden. I think that, first and foremost, is the most impressive thing that happened. I mean, I didn't expect much out of Russ and the Steelers, and we saw Russ, what do we say, right on cue, coughed it up. We mentioned that in the last pod. One of the things we were right about, I just thought that defense was going to hold Lamar, and especially Derrick Henry, to less yardage. But when you let Derrick Henry go 100+, you're going to lose football games.
Yeah, especially when you let him go 162.
Most definitely.
And Lamar also did his thing in the air, threw 3 or 2 tutties or whatever, 3 tutties. Had that one pick, but didn't amount to anything because right after that, Russ throws a pick 6, and all of a sudden you get that touchdown lead. It's whatever. I mean, the Steelers' offense faltered when they were able to just try to score points. It seemed like what really turned the tides there was that Russ fumble early in that first half where he had that great 25-yard scramble, gets hit in the ribs, and coughs up the ball, Ravens ball. And after that, their offense really couldn't do much the rest of the day.
Most definitely, Caden. That was probably the biggest surprise this weekend. I mean, other than Buffalo. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Our most exciting game of the week, though, was between Jaden Daniels and Kenny Pickett.
Yes, it was, Caden. And it wasn't because Kenny Pickett was slinging the ball either. Saquon Barkley comes out of this game firing. Eagles O-line dominating. Jalen Hurts.
Concussed.
Tries to come back out. He says he's good. He was cleared.
And then everyone's like, nope, come back.
And they're like, no, thank you. I guess Vegas wasn't trying to have my Eagles cover hit either. But credit Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Fought through adversity to the very end. Never gave up. Got the chance. And the young quarterback secures Rookie of the Year honors.
Jaden Daniels, 258, 5 tutties, another 81 yards on the ground. I mean, and they had 5 turnovers as a team in this game.
3 fumbles and 2 picks.
Brian Robinson had 2 fumbles. I think it was Brown had a fumble, and then Daniels had the 2 picks, and they were still found a way to put up 36 points and win this game in a tight divisional matchup that really basically secures them a playoff spot now.
Yes, it does. It was a huge win for the Commanders. Got a little bit for a franchise that's struggled and had a horrible last 5 years. Good for them.
Now that these next 2 games, big surprises to both of us. First, my Patriots. They were able to keep it close with the Bills. Even give them a little scare at one point. They only lost the game by 3, 24-21. They come out, get the ball to start the game. Beautiful throw by Drake made to Kayshon Boutte to find the touchdown. Then they get the ball back. Drive right down the field again. Ramondre Stevenson, 14-yard touchdown. Then James Cook comes in, breaks a 46-yard touchdown run, gets the Bills kind of back in this. Then the turnover started for the Patriots. Ramondre has done what Ramondre does all season. Fumbles it again on one of the policy drives on midfield. He fumbles, and then they're going to tie it up. And then the pick by Drake was not great. I mean, no, it wasn't. I wouldn't really call it on him because if Austin Hooper doesn't fall down, he has him beat. He would have been probably open. But they try to do a little crossing route. Austin Hooper trips, falls down, and left the DB just sitting there wide open.
Yeah, that one's
also that fumble though for a touchdown. Ramondre, what are we doing? It's supposed to be a little check down to you. You're supposed to take off. You let it hit right off your face mask and kick into the end zone for a touchdown for the Bills. Yeah, sure, you had that nice touchdown earlier in the game. Other than that, you were a complete negative in this football game. That's not on Drake. That's all on you. You just get your hands on the ball. Catch it's a 2-yard pass right here. Not that hard to catch. It's all you needed.
I agree, Caden. Again, though, I'm gonna knock the Buffalo Bills more than I'm gonna knock the Patriots.
Hey, I'm proud by the Patriots.
As an offense, Josh Allen, was the MVP front runner. I think he still is in lead, but you have Saquon.
After that, Saquon's and
Lamar are scratching and clawing. This is definitely more of a race.
And they both grew after this poor performance. People are like, he had that right elbow contusion. But even without that, he was missing a lot of these sideline throws.
Yes.
He looked like maybe he'd have someone beat or something. He's just missing a lot of these deep sideline throws that we've been seeing him hit week in, week out, especially these last 5 weeks when their offenses were putting up these crazy numbers.
Yeah, not to be negative, but it almost looked like Josh Allen of a couple years ago where he has these games where he's completely high and then he's just slow, missing throws. I don't know if that's an outlier, but as a person whose Broncos potentially may end up finding themselves playing the Bills, I like to see it this time of year.
It definitely is a sight to see, a good sight to see for Broncos fans if they end up matching up with them. Let's get to our primetime games here now, where Sunday Night Football. So if you guys remember how we were talking about from the pod a couple days ago, me and Mex were facing off in the semifinals this week, fantasy football semifinals. He was up 7 points after that last-second Hunter Henry touchdown. He was up 7 points. It came down to Bucky Irving and Rico Dowdle in this game. Obviously, we thought the Bucks. We both had the Bucks. I thought 4 was way too low of a line. Was going to come in and be nice. And if I was to tell you Rico Dowdle would have 13 carries for only 23 yards, you would think the Bucks won this game easily. Quite the opposite, actually. Not only did the Bucks not cover, they lose this game and are now losing the division to the Falcons because the Cowboys win 26-24. Cooper Rush goes 292, a tutty, no turnovers. Zeke stole your touch. Zeke had 1 carry for 1 yard and a touchdown and stole your shot in the championship. The Cowboys broke Mex's heart so much last night, and Bucky did what he had to do to give me the victory, but the Bucks did not do what they needed to do to get the win or the cover.
Dallas Cowboys, I will never forgive you for giving the ball to Zeke. Zeke Elliott has done nothing for this team the entire season. He's done nothing but take up roster spots, have character problems early on in the locker room, was benched for some time, or had that whole ordeal, and you put him in for 1 carry. That's a touchdown? You reward him by giving him a touchdown? When Rico Dowell, who's been your cowback the last 5 weeks, 100-plus yards, and you don't design a screen, you don't design a counter, you don't design a trap, you don't design a wham, you don't design a misdirection. You give it to him right behind the Cowboys' O-line on 3rd and long or 2nd and forever, obvious run situations with no setups, no nothing, and expect him to go through that bad Cowboys O-line. Absolutely pathetic.
And for some reason, Devontae Turpin was lined up in the backfield a good bit of plays, and he was getting handoffs too. I don't know what happened there. I'm grateful that Rico did nothing and Bucky did what he needed to do. But that's an awful loss for the Bucs. Really bad and really hindering their playoff chances too.
The Bucs probably just sold their playoff chances with the way rookie Michael Penix Jr. is looking.
He did nothing in that game.
He had very, very, very great quarterback. Not great.
200 yards, no tutties, 1 pick.
Okay, did you watch the game?
I did.
Did you see the throws, the timing, the efficiency of young Penix?
They were
all
bad.
things that were missing from Kirk.
Yeah, they were
That
bad.
was his first ever start.
I know.
Wait until he gets some time. I think that it was a good move,
I'm not saying the move was bad.
and I like
I
it.
just don't think
I like
Penix is all that.
I think you're too harsh on the Rook, and you need to give him time.
I'm going to give him time. Don't worry.
But to go along with this weekend, we saw another atrocious blowout game.
Yes, Monday night. Hey, I got this one right at least. This is my 3rd and final right pick of the week. Packers, straight blowout, 34-0 on the Saints. Not much to say. I mean, Josh Jacobs, when they let him play, if you followed our bets, we were both on Josh Jacobs in this. He had 13 carries, 69 yards, and a tutty, another 40 receiving yards. He was looking great for my carries. He was looking great for your total, like your rush plus receiving yards. And then because the Saints couldn't do a single thing offensively, they let Emmanuel Wilson get the rest of the whole second half basically of playing time.
Caden, there's so little to talk about in this game because it was Spencer Rattler and this offense just looking atrocious.
Yeah.
Trying to get any yards on first down. And the few couple plays that they did have were in close to the second half, garbage time, or when the Packers are just letting up and don't really care about what you do. And they still couldn't get a single point score. I thought, division. I thought you're trying to play for your coach, you're trying to play for some pride, trying to do anything at all. This Saints team did not. And it is crazy to see how they looked week 1 to now because it's like they peaked at the opening
weeks 1 and 2,
drive.
they put up 40 points. It was like, oh, this Saints offense legit.
Yeah.
Look at them now.
It's been crazy. Unfortunately, though, this weekend as a whole didn't go with me because it was just blowouts. I mean, unfortunately, I think I hate to say it was the worst weekend, but definitely one of the least desired weekends of
a lot of
football.
blowouts and the fantasy playoffs.
Well, like always, continue to listen and look out for our other episodes if you want to hear wrong advice. Just kidding.
No, well, don't worry. We've got a good weekend coming up. We still got to figure out how we're going to structure it because the games will be on Tuesday and Wednesday.
There's going to be some episodes out.
There's going to be some episodes out. Next Tuesday's episode might be a little different. Might also be a prediction episode as well as a little recap episode.
We'll see.
But other than that, make sure you guys like this video, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Share with your friends, family, strangers, neighbors, whoever. And follow the social medias, Instagram and Twitter. And we have a new website that just came out, theuntouchaballs.wordpress.com. theuntouchaballs.wordpress.com. So if you want to see more insights or just more sports-related articles and news, please check that out because we'll be pumping those out on a regular basis.
Most definitely, and that is The Untouchaballs, THEUNTOUCHABALLS.wordpress.com. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time.